Good morning, students. Today I'm going to take you through a short video of a couple machines as long as electricity stays on. As you know, the campus is closed due to the electricity throughout the day in this building. So today I'm going to go through the Rebound machine. It's an electromagnetic diathermy machine that comes with the sleeve. I borrowed it from North Manchester campus for our usage. It will be in our lab for a couple weeks. I wanted to go through the idea that, again, Lucas or Dr. Dargo would have probably told you that, again, electromagnetic, there's also just electrical and also just magnetic, but the electromagnetic field that is produced during shortwave diathermy does create a physiological change with the eddy currents, again, and ionization, or again, some sort of excitation of the ionites in our body to be able to produce that heat or that metabolic change, or again, that physiological change. The machine I'm showing you today is a pretty portable version. It comes with your typical cord with a coaxial cable that plugs into the front of the machine, but it is called the Rebound machine by Regear. It is a company that we purchased this years ago, and again, they have also connections for other capacitor electrodes as well as what we're trying to do. So today I'm going to take you through that process just so you can kind of see how it works and kind of go through that process as well. All right, so I will flip the camera now and start to show you the parts. So as you see the machine, again, the Rebound machine itself is, again, just a square cube. Something to take note on is that the machine must stay upright, only because the fan on the back will overheat if laid flat. And the video will show you that as well as part of the other links I have onto Canvas. You'll notice that we have our power button right here. We have a volume button essentially right here as well. With respects to, again, what we're doing for the volume, so you can hear. You have the orange arrow there that essentially is the move forward button or the start button with respects to what's called tuning. You have a clock button for time. You have the 4 squares on the upper right hand corner, which basically are presets. The stop and pause, which really kind of are self-explanatory, and then your intensity button. You have your coaxial cable that you'll see will go from here and will end up coming into the sleeve, which we'll show in a second. And then the knob, which obviously this one is missing to be honest with you, but this will still turn, is what we will use to be able to alter or change any of the sets that we have on the machine itself. You'll notice we have the plug-in cord on the side that essentially has the power button and as well that goes into electrical energy. Keeping in mind that this is a sense of a conversion machine as well. I know I mentioned something about ultrasound being one of those few machines that is conversion from electrical to acoustic, but this is electrical energy coming from the wall that will turn into electromagnetic energy with respects to what we have. You'll notice we have the sleeve, all right? The sleeve is, again, like a cylinder. I will show you the end of this. It has a box on the end as well. So essentially this will go around, typically an arm or a leg with respects to that. Now there are shoulder ones, there are other arm ones and back ones, but you'll notice this little box on top, and this is what we use to tune. You'll notice the little spindle here as well. So at some point, essentially once I put this on, you'll notice that I have to turn this to tune it. And to tune it, essentially you have to remember that you're going to put this on, and as you do that, it needs to tune to your body so it's doing the best results or the best treatment that it can. And what it does that, it's basically looking at your body or feeling essentially with the energy that you have a good flow, right? And that it's working very well. And so you'll notice on the machine what we'll say about that. So essentially what we do with the machine at this point is we're going to go ahead and turn this on, or flick it on the back, sorry. We see the red light blinking and coming on. And from that standpoint, we're just going to give it a good push here, and we're going to get it to turn on. So as we get this to turn on, you'll notice that it says it's ready, that we're supposed to attach the garment, which I will put onto my thigh. Now remember, contraindications that Dr. Dargo will mention to you, things are such as pacemakers, malignancies, tumors, anything that we can't identify. It's really going to cause a deep heat, essentially is what we're going to try to do. With respects to that, but we can do non-thermal as well. But again, we want to be cautious of our contraindications for anything that we're going to do. Also metal, so again, if you have metal implants, we don't want to do anything around that. It will overheat those, but the one thing we need to also consider is that if you have pacemakers and things like that, we do have to consider the fact that you're supposed to stay 3 feet away if you have any type of metal or pregnancies and things once the treatment is happening, mainly because there may be some energy coming out from the sleeve itself. So keep that in mind. So as you see, 20 minutes here, we can change the time on that by simply hitting the clock button. So if we go here and I'm going to hit that clock button. You'll notice that it turns yellow, and as it turns yellow from that standpoint, then we can go up and down the dial and we can change it. Typical times are 20 to 35 minutes, depending on what you're trying to get and the heat that it increases. With the diathermy machine, as well as the other shortwave diathermy intellect machine we'll talk about, we do go about 3 to 4 centimeters into the deep tissue. So what you'll notice is that it's common and typical to 1 megahertz ultrasound. All right, so again, if you have some pressure change or that you have difficulty pushing onto an area with the ultrasound machine, what we can do, or if you want a bigger surface area, we can use a diathermy machine for this as well. You'll notice again, once I go ahead and if I hit that, it turns yellow, and I hit it again, we're back to where we go. If I hit the, again, percent machine, we have 100% here. We can go down in increments of 5, which a video will show you as well. Essentially what we're going to do is if we hit with this at 50% or less, we would turn around and start thinking it's non-thermal. Let's keep it at 95%. I'll show you the presets. Currently right now, you'll notice the presets, essentially it's turning it from 15% or 15 minutes times 75%. Set 3 is 10 minutes times 50%. Then 4 is 5 minutes for 25%. So if you go through, 1 would be thermal, 2 would be thermal, 3 is on the ledge of non-thermal to thermal, but only 10 minutes. And then again, you have a non-thermal version at 5 minutes for 25%. So we're going to stick at 100% still. We have a volume button. As you can see, just gives you a larger volume. And then we have, essentially, it says attach to the garment and press to begin tuning. So I'm not going to hit the orange button yet. But we will get there in just 1 second as I put this onto my leg. So give me 1 second. Okay, so what we now have is the rebound sleeve on my knee. All right, so we have a flared end up here, and we have a less of a flared end on the bottom. So essentially, this could be for a quad. But again, we want to make sure that we're encompassed and everything is in there. And as we have it on, essentially we want to make sure that there might be like 2 to 3 centimeters. As you can see, it's a bit pancaked, but 2 or 3 centimeters or so around it. We don't want it to be super tight, all right? We always want something in between the skin, all right, and making sure that essentially we have a barrier. We don't want this to be directly on the skin. As we sweat, it will cause issues with it as well, okay? So we're going to go back and we're going to say this is good. And we're going to go back to this. I'm going to use 100%, and I'm going to let it push my arrow. It says to adjust my tuning. And as I do this, I'm going to turn this knob clockwise or counterclockwise. It goes both ways, but you will get to an end, so you don't want to over tighten. If it doesn't tune into the green, like I'll show you, essentially going right, then just turn around and go left. And you might have to turn it quite a bit. So I'm going to start turning this. Give it some time. Again, at this point, I've done all my contraindications. Okay, I'm all the way to the right, so it's not working. So I'm going to go to the left in hopes that we will start to see a line here. Give it some time. Still turning. Still turning. Sorry. There we go. See the line? Now we want this to be in the green. And once we're in the green, you're in tune. So I want this to be in green as much as I can. And at this standpoint, as I move just even a little bit, this tuning goes pretty sensitive. So I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to start my therapy. Now, currently, I do not feel anything. But in reality, if I move this a lot, if I twist or turn, and it's still staying, which is good, but if I twist and turn too much, this may say it's pausing or the tuning is off, and I have to redo it. So at that point, you readjust the sleeve, and you basically make sure that the rebound machine is in tune again. Now, I'm currently already, let's say, almost 20 seconds in, and I'm starting to feel heat in my knee. So this is a good heating treatment, larger surface area than an ultrasound, but again, it's working very well with respects to what we're trying to do. It's creating an electromagnetic field. Essentially, the coils are wrapped inside the sleeve, and then what I'm doing is I'm part of that field, and it's creating, again, the ions in my body. It's creating this spinning or this eddy effect, essentially these eddy currents, and this change in energy essentially is causing the ions to be excited and to change and alter. And so what I'm doing is, again, creating thermal heat through that. So think about ultrasound and the molecular collision that we talked about. We don't get thermal effects if we don't get molecular collision. So in this instance, if we're not exciting the ions, we're not really generating much heat within the tissue. So I'm going to sit here on this treatment, and I'm just going to keep checking with my patients just to make sure everything is good to go. Always checking to make sure that nothing is happening, that they don't feel too hot. They start to feel some warmth, that it doesn't change much. And then from there, I'm going to take the treatments and decide what is best for my patient over time. Again, I would probably do this one treatment a day. I don't know that there's any contraindications to do it multiple times, but I know you need at least a couple hours or so in between doing treatments such as this. But again, it's comparable to the 1 megahertz ultrasound, which is, again, as you know, the deep ultrasound. So larger surface area, don't have the pressure that you really can take from the ultrasound. So what do? We can put some diathermy on there. Very portable, very useful. And so excited to have this machine up here. Think it'll probably stay up here for a while. I do not believe they use it much in North Manchester, but it is a valuable machine and works very well for a good portable shortwave diathermy. So again, Dr. Dargo will talk more about with respects to the frequencies that it runs on in general for shortwave diathermy, and this would be considered an induction. Again, it has the coils, but it's with the induction side, essentially with the coils in the sleeves. And again, we can get different sleeves to do that. Once the treatment is over, we can always stop it and pause it. You do have to do that if you want to change things. So if I wanted to go ahead and change the intensity, I could just take that down if I thought it was too much. And then from there, I can change the time or the volume and presets, and then I can go ahead and I can, again, hit the orange button again, and I can adjust the tuning. See, it went out of tuning, and now it's back in. So again, I just moved a little bit, and it took it out of tune, and now my therapy's on. But now I'm at 20 minutes at 60%. Now, from this standpoint, again, we just continue the treatment and we just monitor our patients. We always ask them how they are after they're done and make sure that we don't have any adverse reactions to the treatment itself. Document everything that we need to do and make sure that we send our patient on their way with the idea that they shouldn't see anything, but if they see anything abnormal, to write that down and make sure that we understand within that 24 hours that we see them. So thank you for the time on the Rebound machine. We will get to use this, but I wanted to send you this other video so that you could kind of see me doing the treatment. Very easy to do, very, very not complicated, but again, just a different version of an electromagnetic shortwave diathermy. Thank you very much. We'll hit the stop button. Stop twice will basically get us to stop, and we have concluded our treatment.